Hi, it's Graham Frame here, and I want to explain to you exactly why most people fail with their online business and how you can succeed guaranteed. And I'm going to use some figures to do this, and I'm going to perhaps make things as simple as possible for you. So first of all, I want to show you this. The $5 is something that it may cost you to get involved in a program, and they'll say it only costs $5 and you can be making $100, $1,000, $10,000, $100,000, whatever it is they tell you you can be making. And it doesn't matter how the plan is structured, whether you start at $5 and you're automatically upgraded to something for $20 and then automatically upgraded to something for $100. It doesn't matter whether it's a force matrix or it's uni-level. It doesn't matter. All you need to do to work out the viability of a program is say, how many people will I need that are paying $5 to actually make what they're telling me I can make? Okay? Because quite often you'll see, oh, it only takes 39 people to make $2,000 a month or $20,000 a month or whatever it is. Just use this simple formula. Whatever it is they're telling you can make, if it's $100 and the people are paying $5, whether it's monthly or just one time, they're telling you can make this monthly or one time, doesn't matter. You just divide the 5 into the 100, and if you're getting 100% commissions, which is unusual, in fact it's really impossible, you would need 20 people. You would need personally 20 people. Now, normally for a program to be viable, they can only pay out 70% of what they get in. And if they're paying out 70% of what they get in, and you're getting that 70%, you would still need 29 people to make $100. Okay? $1,000, you would need 286 people. $10,000, you would need 2,800 people. And $100,000, you're looking at over 28,000 people. And bear in mind, that is if you are getting the whole 70% of what people are paying. And that is unusual as well. It would normally be split between different levels. Okay? So that's the first thing you've got to bear in mind. Ignore the hype. Is what they're suggesting viable? And the answer is usually no. Okay? But there are ways that you can leverage things and make money without all these hypothetical figures that are produced by matrices, binary plans, and so on. And I want to show you this as well and put this into perspective. Now this is something that you may have seen or heard about, and it's doubling 1 penny or 1 cent every day and what it can produce. And if you double it, these are the days down here for 30 days, and you can see it's doubling every day. And as we scroll down here, you can see that at the end of 30 days you would have $5,300,000. Now that is a fact, that if it doubles every day, that's what you would end up with. So let's just look at this. First of all, can we double 1 cent to make 2 cents? Yeah, you probably can. You can probably buy something for 1 cent and sell it for 2 cents. Can we double that again? 2 cents to 4 cents is probably viable. But as it grows, can you buy something for $1,000, $1,300 and sell it for $2,600 in a day? Probably not. And as it goes, it gets harder and harder and harder. What I also want you to look at here is the fact that it's very, very slow to start with. Halfway through the month, you're only at $163. I mean, that's good if you've put in just 1 cent. But people have to go through all these phases to get there, and people give up because they're not making enough money. So this is another reason why people fail. 1, it's not practical. 2, it takes too long. Let's just have a look at what can be done if we started on the 1st of January 2018. It could be any date, any time. Okay, what is viable? Certainly doubling your money every day isn't viable, but it is possible, and there are lots of places, and I'm going to indicate 3 of them that I use, where you can get 1% a day. But at 1% a day, it takes 100 days to get your money back. Okay, 1% a day means that to get to 100%, it's 100 days. And to double your money, it's twice that long, 200 days. So, to make this viable at 1% a day, let's just have a look at the dates here. You can see 20th of July to get to 2 cents. The 5th of February, a year later, to get to 4 cents. To get up to $10 or $20, you're looking at 5 years. 5 to 6 years at 1% a day to make 1 cent into $10 or $20. Once again, it's too long for most people to do. Let me show you how you can improve on that. Let me show you how you can, first of all, leverage that. But I want you to remember these numbers. To get here took 5 or 6 years to get to $20. Okay? Let me slide this over. Let's start with $20 instead of 1 cent. $20. If we start with $20, you can see that as we go through the phases at 1% a day, in 5 years, we've now got $20,000. It makes it a lot more worthwhile. Starting with $20, it's giving you $20,000. This is the power of compounding. Now, we're not compounding this every day. We're just compounding it as we go along. And it shows you that the more you start with, the more you can make. 6 years, $40,000, starting with $20,000. And this is more interesting to people. But still, people will say it's too slow. I'm going to drop out because it's going to take me till the 20th of July to double my money. $40. I'd rather spend the $20 now. And that's what happens. People spend the $20 now. Another thing that happens is they get here and they say, well, I've waited all this time. I'm going to take $20 out. And they're back here where they started. So we've got another long period to go just to get back to that $40. If you're in this type of thing, if you've got this type of ambition to get to a stable passive income, you can't take money out along the way. You've got to allow the program to work. Now we've got all the columns here. We've got the 1% a day and we've got 13 weeks. Now why 13 weeks? I'm going to slide this over and show you something that shows the power of compounding. Okay, we've got the same $20 being invested. But we're now looking at this on a weekly basis. If it's 1% a day, that would be 7% a week. I want to drop that down to 6% a week because a lot of programs that pay you 1% a day will only pay you half of that on weekends. Okay, so you get 5% Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 1% times 5, 5%, and then 0.5% Saturday and Sunday. That's your 6%. So I've dropped it to 6%. So what happens in a week? In a week, you would make $1.20 profit. We're looking at the same date to start, but we're compounding it because now in week 2, we've got $21.20. And so your weekly 6% is adding up. It's getting bigger. It's getting bigger. And what we can see is that by week 13, we've actually doubled our money. through the power of compounding. And that's where this 13 weeks comes in. If we can double our money every 13 weeks using compounding, not taking money out until we've reached our goal, we can achieve something spectacular. And I want to go back to that other chart now and show you. Okay, without the compounding weekly, you can see it took us 6 months, a little bit over 6 months, to double our money. We saw in that last chart we just slightly more than doubled our money in 13 weeks. So if we look at 13 weeks to double our money, we're starting off the same date. Well, I've got it actually as the second. It doesn't matter. 13 weeks. We're now at the 3rd of April instead of the 20th of July. Okay? Double it again. Instead of being a year later, 13 months later, we're 6 months later. So you can see how this is improving. To get to that $20,000, we're now at the 30th of June 2020. It's taken 2.5 years as opposed to 5 years, over 5 years. Okay, it's cut that time down in half. But we're looking for passive, ongoing income. We're looking for something that is there all the time. Okay, if we're still earning that, we can get to a point where we say, okay, what do I want out of this? And if I just go back up, we've got weekly income and monthly income there. Okay, so here, if we're at this 13-week period here, or whether we've got it there or whatever, but we can do this in 2.5 years, we've got to 20,480. And the difference between that in that 13-week period is 10,000. We divide that 10,000 by 13 weeks, and we've got a weekly income of $853.33 after 2.5 years. That's over $3,500 a month. You've got to wait that 2.5 years. You start taking money out along the way, it's going to take you a lot longer. Because of the effect of compounding particularly, it's very, very expensive to you to remove money until you've reached your goals. If you say, well, I want more than that, how about 7,000 a month? That's just another 13 weeks on. By the 29th of September 2020, 2 years and 9 months on, you can be making $7,395 a month, over $1,700 per week. And you can see, if you're prepared to wait another 13 weeks, another 3 months, how this goes up. It's doubling. For every 13 weeks that you're prepared to wait, you are doubling your potential income. Now, what you could do is, when you get to this stage, is say, well, look, I'm going to just take out a little bit of it and we're still going to increase. Okay, and that is the best thing to do. Not to take out 100% of what you're making. Take out maybe 50% of your profits and reinvest 50% of your profits. That'll keep your income going up, ongoing, and that is what you need to do. But the reason most people fail is because they won't wait. They get here, whether it's in that amount of time or 13 weeks, and they say, I'm going to spend my $20, and they're back at the start. Or they might even get to here, they might wait a year and say, oh, I've got $160, Christmas, I'll take $100 out. They're back to $60. It's pushed them back a long way. And this is what people will do, and they never get to that true, passive, life-changing income. What are the plans that can get you this 6% weekly? Because this is where it becomes very, very important. Of course, if you start with more money, let's suppose you've got $100 here. You can see that you're still doubling it in 13 weeks, but the amount is much higher. You've doubled the amount you've got. You've got 200 here. And so it doesn't matter what you start with. It'll work the same way for you. But you've got to be consistent in putting that money back in, putting it back in, putting it back in, putting it back in consistently, because that is the only way that you can achieve the goals you want. You've got to have that patience. And it doesn't matter whether you're starting with $20, $100, $1,000. The more you start with, the quicker you will reach bigger amounts. But the principle is still the same. You've got to just stick with that reinvestment until you've reached the sum that you want. Whether it's 1,000 a week, 800 a week, 3,000 a week, 6,000 a week, 10,000 a week, doesn't matter. You stick with that program by reinvesting until you reach your goal. Do that and you can win. Now below here I've got 3 programs that I use that will provide you with at least 6% weekly. These programs historically do not last forever. So you've got to spread your load. So I wouldn't recommend that you get involved in just one of these programs. I'd recommend that you get involved in all 3. And there is a program that it will be launching very, very soon. It's already open to some members that have been in for a few years, but it'll be relaunching, 100% compliant with all regulations globally. It'll be available to anybody in any country, anywhere, and that will be stable, and that will be stable for a lifetime. It may produce less than 1% a day, but it'll be lifetime stable. In the meantime, spread your money. Join all 3 programs. If you've got, you can join them all for under $50. You could put in 10 and 10, and I think the other one is about $20. So you could get in for around $40. But $50, spread the load. Start now. When this 4th program is available, I'll list that below as well. It'll be available within the next few weeks to new investors. You can then get your money into there, and you know it's stable and safe for not only your lifetime, but the lifetime of your children, your grandchildren and their children. Okay? That's what I've got for you. Put the plan into action. Stick with it. Have the patience, the tenacity, the persistence to just keep on going until you get to the level you want to be at. And then draw part of your profits and keep reinvesting the rest to make sure that your income keeps growing. Okay? God bless.